What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today for the Stanley Cup Final preview. In the Stanley Cup Final, we have the number 1 seeded in the Atlantic Florida Panthers taking on the number 2 seed in the Pacific, the Edmonton Oilers. For Edmonton, it's been a while since they've last been here. For Florida, they were here just last year. Both of these teams have lost their previous Stanley Cup Final matches. Let's get right into this. To get here, Florida defeated their interstate rival Tampa Bay in 5. They defeated Boston, same as last year, in 6. And then they beat the President's Trophy winning Rangers in 6. So combined 17 games played right there. For the Oilers, they beat their playoff rival, the Kings, in 5 for the 3rd straight year. Canucks, they beat in 7, top seed in the Pacific. And then they take out the number 1 seed in the West and number 1 seed in the Central, the Dallas Stars, in 6 games. They have played 18 games to get here. Meetings between these teams. In Edmonton on November 20th, 2023, Florida wins that one 5-3. And then in Florida on December 16th, 2023, Florida wins 5-1. They sweep the season series against them. Point leaders. Bobrovsky, 1 shutout, and with a .908 save percentage, he is 12-5. Skinner, with 1 shutout as well, has 11-5 with an .897 save percentage. Pickard has also got into some games. He's 1-1 with a .915. Point leaders, these are everyone in the top 50. I got everyone on the board. I'm have my computer raised right now so it can fit. So Tkachuk, 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points, leads the way. Barkov, 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points. Verhaeghe, 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points. Reinhart, 8 goals, 4 assists, 12 points. Lundell, 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points. Forsling, 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points. He's been their best defenseman this playoffs. Bennett, 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points, and he's not played every game. Montour, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. And Rodriguez, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. For the Oilers, you got your big 6, and those are the ones getting you your points. McDavid, 5 goals, 26 assists, 31 points. It is possible that in the event Florida wins the Cup, McDavid still might win the Conn Smythe. It might be the first time since 2003 that a losing player has won the Conn Smythe, but we'll see. Draisaitl, 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points. Bouchard, 6 goals, 21 assists, 27 points. Nugent Hopkins, 6 goals, 14 assists, 20 points. Hyman, 14 goals leading the playoffs, 4 assists, 18 points. Evander Kane then, 10-point drop-off there, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. No one else on the Oilers cracked the top 50 lineup. It's basically these big 6, and that's about it. And Kane's had his struggles as well. So, Conn Smythe winner, if for the Panthers, if they win, I'm going to say probably Bobrovsky, but Barkov has a possibility of winning it there. For the Oilers, I'm going to say it has to be McDavid. You can't go any other way except the route of McDavid. Let me see if I can move this light so you can see it better. Don't want to knock the computer down either. So, storylines in this playoffs. Panthers have been here twice before. In 1996, they were swept by the Colorado Avalanche. In 2023, they were lost in 5 to the Vegas Golden Knights. They're looking for redemption this year. Last year, of course, losing to Vegas in 5, they only won the 1 game in overtime. They're looking to win it all for the third time's the charm for them. The Oilers, they're an established franchise who's won several Stanley Cups. 1983, they lost to the New York Islanders in their last cup of their dynasty in 4 straight. Islanders won 80, 81, 82, 83, nearly won 84, but the Oilers stopped them in 84. That's right, the Islanders won 19 straight series in the 80s. Yeah. Oilers stopped them with a 5-game win in the final of their own. And then in 1985, they repeat with a 5-game win over the Philadelphia Flyers, and Pelle Lindbergh was the story of the Flyers. Tragic accident ended his life very prematurely. Fantastic goaltender in his time. 1987, they get a rematch with Philly because 1986, Steve Smith screwed them over. But in 1987, Ron Hextall nearly steals the Stanley Cup from the Oilers. He wins the Conn Smythe, but the Oilers win the Stanley Cup in 7 games against the Flyers. 1988, they repeat for the 2nd time, 2 repeats in there. They beat Boston this time in a 4-game sweep, and then after Gretzky leaves after that year, they don't make it into 89. 1990, they win the Stanley Cup in 5 games over Boston once again. 2006 was the only time they've made it there since that era. They were an 8th seed that made all their way to the final. Of course, Rolison gets hurt in Game 1. Who knows what happens if he's healthy the entire series, but Carolina takes them out in 7 games. They were down 3-1. They won Game 5 on a shorthanded goal from Fernando Pisani in overtime. In Game 6, they destroyed Carolina before Carolina came home and took care of business in Game 7. So we have 7 Stanley Cup Finals appearances for the Oilers. We've had 2 for the Panthers. So this is number 3 for the Panthers, number 8 for the Oilers. Oilers are 5-2, Panthers are 0-2. So one of these teams is going to be either the team could finally get their first or this team could get their 6th. If the Oilers get their 6th, that means they're tied with the Bruins and Blackhawks. Not recently. We've had a higher Stanley Cup winner, as in like teams that have had some of the more Stanley Cups. Another storyline coming into this: the 2014 NHL Draft. I've seen this around a lot. The top 4 picks from that draft are in the Stanley Cup Final. Aaron Ekblad on the Florida Panthers. Realize he's not here. Sam Reinhart, traded by the Buffalo Sabres to the Florida Panthers. Leon Draisaitl, goes without saying, but on the Oilers. And Sam Bennett, traded from Calgary. He's in their top point scorers, and he's been very good. So you got your top 4 there. And one last storyline I wanted to point out. Corey Perry, first player to go to the Stanley Cup Final with 5 different teams. There's been plenty that have done 4. I know Paul Coffey did 4. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anyone else. But Corey Perry, in 2007, he wins with the Ducks in his 2nd season. 2020, he loses with Dallas to the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Ducks beat Ottawa that year. 2021 with Montreal, he loses to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So loses Tampa twice. Goes to Tampa in 2022, where they lose to the Colorado Avalanche. 3 straight losses. 2023, he's with Tampa, doesn't make the final. 2024 now with Edmonton after coming from Chicago. Could he win his 2nd cup, or will he lose his 4th straight final? He's been to the finals more than anyone else this decade so far. That's pretty funny. But this could be his last go-around as well, so it could be a bit more motivation for him to score a big goal. He scored big goals in 2020 and 2021. 2022, he was decent. I mean, he didn't score like a huge goal. He had 9 points, I believe. So 2024, he's had not the greatest playoff showing, of course, with his age. But could be a big year for Perry if he's trying to get that last one. Who do I think is going to win this series? If you looked at my predictions, I had Edmonton going out in round 3. If you look at my predictions, I had Florida going out in round 2. Florida, I think, is the better team all around. Edmonton has the star power, and Edmonton also has another factor. This guy, Connor McDavid. I'd be very surprised if he never won a Stanley Cup with this Oilers team. Of course, the Oilers team's probably not properly built. It's not like the early 2010s Blackhawks with tons of depth. It's not like the Penguins who had so many stars besides. They had Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Rust, Getzel, Sherry at the time. They had so many guys, and you had Fleury and Murray in net. You had so much on those Penguins teams. LA had the size. Really, the Oilers are relying on 6 guys and semi-decent goaltending, and they've made it here, which makes them kind of scary in my eyes. But I do think the Panthers are the favorites to win. I do think they're going to win, although the Oilers, I'd not be surprised at all if they won due to McDavid's plot armor. But that's going to be all I have for you guys in this one. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Leave your thoughts down below on who you think is going to win the Stanley Cup. We are going to do just like last year in 2023, we're going to do a game-by-game review. I wish I did it in 2022 with Colorado-Tampa, but we're going to do a game-by-game review of the Stanley Cup Final. We'll go over the goals, how each game was played, who played better, all that stuff. And then I've only got one more video planned before that series starts. But for now, that's going to be all I have for you guys in this one. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.